The classroom hummed with the sound of 100 different species breathing, clicking, and chittering. Hyun-woo sat near the back, his human frame small compared to most of his classmates. The desk felt too large for him, designed for beings twice his size. He had gotten used to it over the past few months at the Galactic Military Academy. Commander Velthar stood at the front of the room, his insectoid body gleaming under the bright lights. His multiple eyes scanned the cadets as his mandibles clicked together in what passed for speech among his kind. The translator device on every desk converted his words into something each species could understand. "Today we discuss apex predators," Velthar announced. "Every world that produces intelligent life has them. The dominant hunters. The species at the top of the food chain. These predators shape evolution on their worlds. They make prey species faster, smarter, more cautious." A holographic display flickered to life above his head. A massive creature appeared, easily 8 meters tall, with 6 legs and jaws that could swallow a land vehicle whole. Several cadets gasped. "This is the Kragoth of Titan IV," Velthar explained. "It can crush starship hull plating with its bite. It hunts in packs and can track prey across continents. The dominant species of Titan IV evolved from prey animals that learned to hide underground for thousands of generations." The image changed. Now it showed something that looked like a liquid shadow, with too many teeth. The Night Stalker of Septar. It hunts through collective consciousness, one mind controlling dozens of bodies. Its prey never knows which shadow holds death. Quote, 9. Quote, more images followed, each more terrifying than the last. Armored beasts, venomous flyers, ambush predators that could mimic any environment. The cadets watched with a mixture of pride and fear. Many recognized the apex predator from their own homeworld. Jinsu, a large reptilian cadet with scales that shimmered like metal, puffed up with obvious pride when his world's predator appeared. A creature called the Scale Render that could tear through stone to reach its prey. "My ancestors fought these for 10,000 years, Jinsu boasted. "Made us the warriors we are today." Several cadets nodded in agreement. Their own species had similar stories. Predators that pushed them to evolve intelligence, tools, civilization itself. Then Velthar's eyes turned toward the back of the room, toward Hyun-woo. "And what of Earth?" the commander asked. "Human, tell us, what apex predator forced your species to evolve?" The room went quiet. 100 different eyes turned to look at the small human in the back row. Hyun-woo felt his face grow warm, but he kept his expression calm. He had known this question would come eventually. "Humans are Earth's apex predator," he said simply. For a moment, nobody reacted. They seemed to be waiting for the rest of the answer. Then Jinsu started laughing. It was a harsh, barking sound that echoed off the walls. Within seconds, half the class joined him. "Humans?" Jinsu managed between laughs. "You? Apex predators? Impossible," another cadet called out. "You have no claws, no venom, no armor, no natural weapons at all. You are not even fast," added a third voice. "Or strong. By galactic standards, humans are below average in almost every physical category." Nari, an avian cadet with bright feathers, tilted her head curiously. She was not laughing, but she looked confused. "Surely you mean something else hunted humans. Forced you to become intelligent to survive?" Hyun-woo shook his head slowly. "No. We are the apex. We have been for over 100,000 years." The laughter grew louder. Even Commander Velthar's mandibles twitched in what Hyun-woo had learned was amusement. "Persistence prey that got lucky with tools," Jinsu declared. "That is all humans are. You admit you have no natural weapons, no speed, no strength worth mentioning. How can such a species claim to be apex predators?" "We outthink our prey," Hyun-woo said quietly, but his voice was drowned out by more laughter. Commander Velthar raised one of his many legs, calling for silence. The room gradually quieted, though many cadets still made amused sounds. Cadet Hyun-woo, Velthar said, his tone almost gentle. I understand human pride. Every species wants to believe they are special. But we must be honest about our nature. Humans are tool users, yes, intelligent, certainly. But apex predators? That is not supported by your biology. You probably evolved running from real predators, Jinsu added. Some earth creature with actual fangs and claws. Something that could hunt properly. Actually, Hyun-woo started to say, but Velthar cut him off. We will not debate this further. The facts are clear. Humans lack every physical trait associated with apex predator species. This is not an insult. Many successful species evolved as prey. It shaped you differently. Made you cooperative, innovative, cautious. These are valuable traits. Hyun-woo sat back in his chair. Around him, cadets whispered to each other. He caught fragments of conversations. Words like delusional and embarrassing floated past him. His hands remained steady on his desk. His breathing stayed even. He showed no anger, no frustration. He simply waited. Nari turned in her seat to look at him. Unlike the others, her expression held curiosity rather than mockery. You really believe this? She asked softly. That humans are apex predators? I do not need to believe it, Hyun-woo replied. It is a fact, but how? Before Hyun-woo could answer, Commander Velthar moved to the next topic. The lesson continued, but Hyun-woo noticed many cadets still glancing his way, making quiet jokes. Jinsu mimed being scared of the dangerous human to the amusement of those nearby. When class ended, Hyun-woo remained seated as others filed out. Commander Velthar approached him, his multiple legs moving in careful coordination. I hope you are not offended, cadet, Velthar said. But it is important you understand the reality of the galaxy. Humans are respected for many things. Your adaptability, your innovation, your diplomatic skills. But, as predators? He made a sound that the translator rendered as a sigh. Perhaps it is better to accept your strengths rather than claim strengths you do not possess. Hyun-woo looked up at the towering insectoid commander. May I have permission to present evidence during the next class? Velthar's mandibles twitched again. Evidence? Yes, Commander. Evidence that humans are apex predators. Actual documentation. Combat footage. Historical records. Evidence. The commander seemed amused by this. You wish to defend your species' honor? I wish to present facts. Velthar clicked his mandibles together thoughtfully. Then he nodded. Very well. Next class session, you may have the floor. I am curious what evidence you think you have. As the commander walked away, Nari approached Hyun-woo's desk. Are you sure about this? She asked. If you cannot prove it, the mockery will only get worse. Hyun-woo pulled out his datapad and began making notes. I can prove it. Jomster. How? He looked up at her. And for the first time since the laughter began, he smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of something that knew a secret. Something patient. I will show them what we really are, he said quietly. I will show them why even humans fear humans. Nari felt a strange chill run through her feathers, though she could not explain why. The tactical theater was much larger than the regular classroom. It could hold over 300 cadets, and today it was almost full. Word had spread about the human who claimed his species were apex predators. Everyone wanted to see what evidence he could possibly present. Most came expecting entertainment. Jinsu sat in the front row with several of his warrior caste friends. They had spent the past 2 days making jokes about soft, weak humans. Now they whispered among themselves, predicting how badly this would go for Hyun-woo. Nari sat off to the side. Her wings folded neatly. She had tried to talk Hyun-woo out of this presentation yesterday, but he had refused. He seemed calm, even confident. It worried her. Commander Velthar entered with several other instructors. They took seats in the observation area. Velthar had invited them, treating this as a teaching moment about accepting one's limitations. Hyun-woo stood at the front of the theater, a small data chip in his hand. The massive holographic display behind him dwarfed his small human frame. He looked tiny, fragile, completely out of place in a room full of warriors from a dozen different species. "Thank you for coming," Hyun-woo began. His voice was steady, clear. "Today I will show you evidence that humans are apex predators. I will not give speeches or make arguments. I will simply show you what we are." Too high. He inserted the data chip. The lights dimmed. "These are military reconnaissance files from Earth. Actual combat footage. Nothing has been edited or enhanced. All files have authentication codes that anyone can verify." The first image appeared. A dense jungle, thick with green vegetation. The view was from a helmet camera, moving slowly through the undergrowth. Several cadets chuckled. They could see humans now, dressed in primitive camouflage, carrying basic ballistic weapons. This was from Earth's past, before they achieved spaceflight. "This is from a conflict 200 years ago," Hyun-woo explained. "Human soldiers operating in hostile jungle territory." The footage continued. The humans moved silently through terrain that looked impossible to navigate. They communicated with tiny hand signals. Their movements were careful, measured, patient. One soldier froze for nearly 5 minutes, completely still, because something ahead made a noise. The laughter in the theater began to fade. More footage played. Humans setting up ambush positions, waiting for hours without moving. Then, when their target appeared, the attack was swift and coordinated. Perfect timing. Every soldier knowing exactly what to do without speaking. "Note the patience," Hyun-woo said. "Human soldiers can remain motionless for hours, days if necessary. We call it the hunter's patience." The next file showed thermal imaging. Night vision. Humans moving through complete darkness with perfect coordination. They operated in conditions where most species would be blind and helpless. "Human eyes are adapted for pursuit hunting," Hyun-woo continued. "We have excellent depth perception and movement tracking. But we also adapted tools to see in any condition." A cadet in the middle row shifted uncomfortably. "This is just basic infantry work. All species train soldiers to..." The footage cut to something new. A single human soldier, alone in a desert environment. The timestamp showed he had been there for 6 days. No resupply. No support. He was tracking something, following traces in the sand that were nearly invisible. "This soldier tracked an enemy unit for 140 miles, Hyun-woo said. "On foot. Through desert. He went 3 days without water, in temperatures that would kill most species within hours." "Impossible," Jinsu said. "No biological organism can." "Humans can," Hyun-woo interrupted, his voice still calm. "We evolved to do exactly this. It is called persistence hunting. We do not chase prey by being faster. We chase prey until it dies from exhaustion." The footage showed the end of that hunt. The enemy unit had collapsed from heat and fatigue. The human soldier was still walking, still tracking, still hunting. The theater was completely quiet now. More files played. Humans operating underwater with primitive equipment. Humans climbing impossible terrain. Humans surviving in Arctic conditions. Humans extracting themselves from behind enemy lines with no support. "These are not special soldiers," Hyun-woo explained. "These are average human military personnel. This is what we consider standard capability." The next footage made several cadets flinch. It showed human soldiers wounded in combat. One had been shot 3 times. He kept fighting. Another had a broken leg. He dragged himself 2 miles to extract a wounded comrade. A third had lost significant blood. She provided covering fire for her unit until they reached safety, then finally collapsed. Humans produce combat stimulants naturally, Hyunwoo said. Our bodies flood with chemicals that suppress pain, increase strength, sharpen focus. We call it adrenaline. In most species, these chemicals are toxic. Humans have evolved to use them as weapons. Velthar leaned forward in his seat. This was not what he had expected. The footage continued. Humans in 100 different environments. Jungle, desert, mountain, Arctic, urban, underwater. Every terrain, every climate. Humans adapted to all of them. We are persistence predators, Hyunwoo said. We do not have claws, so we made knives. We do not have speed, so we learned patience. We do not have venom, so we studied our prey until we knew every weakness. We became apex, not through single advantages, but through adaptation itself. A new file began. This one showed something different. A human research team studying animal behavior. They tracked predators on Earth, learning their patterns. One researcher followed a large predator for months, documenting every detail of its life. We study our prey, Hyunwoo continued. We learn how they think, where they go, what they fear. We use that knowledge. Every human soldier is trained to think like their target, to predict behavior, to exploit patterns. The footage showed the results. Humans setting traps based on animal psychology. Humans using sounds to manipulate prey movement. Humans working as coordinated packs to drive prey exactly where they wanted it to go. We hunt in packs when useful, Hyunwoo said. But we can also hunt alone. We are adaptable. That is our apex trait. Not one ability, but the ability to develop any ability we need. More combat footage appeared. Modern operations, now. Humans dropping from orbit into active combat zones. Humans operating in vacuum, wearing only thin suits. Humans coordinating attacks across multiple planets simultaneously. This is us. With technology, Hyunwoo said. We took our hunting instincts and applied them to warfare. Strategy, tactics, logistics. All of it comes from the same source. We are hunters who learned to think. The next file showed something that made even the instructors shift in their seats. It was tracking data from a human special operations team. 3 soldiers operating alone in enemy territory for 42 days. No resupply, no communication. They lived off the land, avoided detection, and completed their mission objective before extracting themselves with 0 casualties. 3 humans, Hyunwoo said quietly. 42 days, behind enemy lines. That is not survival. That is hunting. Jinsu stood up suddenly. This is edited. Enhanced. No species can do this naturally. Hyunwoo pressed a button. Authentication codes filled the screen. Database access information. Independent verification sources. Check them yourself. Several cadets pulled out their data pads. The room filled with the quiet sounds of information being verified. One by one, faces changed. The codes were real. The footage was authentic. Everything Hyunwoo showed them was documented fact. Nari spoke up, her voice uncertain. These tactics you show. The hunting. The tracking. The persistence. She paused. You said earlier that humans have been apex predators for 100,000 years? Yes. And in that time, what did you hunt? Hyunwoo's expression did not change. Everything. Animals. Other predators. Each other. The room went very still. You hunt your own species? We did, Hyunwoo admitted. For most of our history, the greatest challenge for a human was another human. We developed these tactics, fighting wars against ourselves. That is what made us truly apex. We had to become better hunters to survive our own kind. Commander Velthar stood slowly. His mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Cadet, I think that is enough for— I have one more file to show, Hyunwoo interrupted. The most important one. He pressed another button. The screen went black for a moment. Then text appeared. A simple title. Persistence Hunt. Traditional Method. Kalahari Desert. Earth. The footage began to play, and the theater filled with a different kind of silence. The silence of species, realizing they had made a terrible mistake. The footage showed a vast, empty desert under a burning sun. A human man stood at the edge of the frame, wearing minimal clothing and carrying a simple spear and water container. He was looking at tracks in the sand. "This is a traditional persistence hunt," Hyun-woo explained, his voice quiet in the dark theater. "The oldest form of human hunting, before tools, before weapons. This is how we became apex predators." The human in the footage began walking. He followed tracks that most of the cadets could barely see. The timestamp in the corner began counting. "That animal he is tracking is faster than him," Hyun-woo continued. "Stronger than him. It has better senses, better natural defenses. By every measure, it should escape easily." The footage sped up, showing the passage of time. The human kept walking. Steady, relentless, never stopping. The sun blazed overhead. The temperature reading showed numbers that made several cadets gasp, hot enough to kill most species within an hour. The human kept walking. "He is not chasing it," Nari whispered, understanding dawning in her voice. "He is just following." Nari, "Yes," Hyun-woo confirmed. "The animal runs, gets tired, rests, runs again. But it cannot rest long enough. Because the human never stops coming, never stops tracking. The animal has to keep running, keep moving, keep trying to escape." The timestamp showed 6 hours had passed. Then 8. Then 12. The human was still walking. His pace had not changed. He showed signs of fatigue, but continued regardless. He drank water sparingly from his container. His eyes stayed fixed on the tracks. "Human biology allows this," Hyun-woo explained. "We regulate body temperature through sweat. We can maintain steady movement for days if necessary. Our joints are designed for endurance, not speed. Our feet, our legs, our entire body is built for this. For walking, for following, for never stopping." The footage showed the animal now. It had been running in the heat for hours. Its movement was erratic, desperate. It tried to hide, but the human tracked it. It tried to run, but the human followed. Always there, always coming, never giving up. Several cadets from prey species got up and left the theater. They had seen enough. The timestamp showed 20 hours. The animal collapsed. It did not die from injury or violence. It died from exhaustion, from heat, from the simple fact that it could not escape a human who refused to stop hunting. The human approached the dead animal, knelt beside it, and spoke words of thanks for its sacrifice. Then he began the process of using every part of the creature. Nothing was wasted. The footage ended. "That is persistence hunting," Hyun-woo said into the shocked silence. "That is what made us apex. We do not need to be the fastest or strongest. We just need to be inevitable." He pulled up new files. Medical data this time. Biological scans of human physiology, compared to galactic standard species. "Human endurance is not normal," he explained. "By galactic standards, it is extreme. Our cardiovascular system is oversized for our body. Our cooling system is more efficient than species 3 times our size. Our joints can handle impact stress that would cripple others. Our feet alone have 26 bones each, designed specifically for covering vast distances. Our work. The data showed graphs and comparisons. Humans could walk for longer periods than any other known sapient species, could maintain physical activity while most species would need rest, could operate in temperature ranges that spanned from Arctic to desert extremes. But endurance is not our only advantage," Hyun-woo continued. New footage appeared. Night operations. Humans moving through complete darkness using technology. Then, the footage switched to show what human eyes actually saw. They could distinguish shapes and movement in light levels where most species would be blind. Human eyes evolved for hunting, Hyunwoo said. Forward-facing for depth perception. Excellent at tracking movement. We can focus on distant targets while maintaining peripheral awareness. When prey runs, we see exactly where it goes. More data appeared. Human reaction times, spatial reasoning, threat assessment scores. Every metric showed humans performing at or above galactic average, despite their physical limitations. We are intelligent predators, Hyunwoo said simply. That combination is rare in the galaxy. Most predators rely on instinct. Most intelligent species evolved from prey. Humans are both. We think like prey but hunt like predators. The next footage made several more cadets leave. It showed human soldiers in combat, using tactics that were coldly efficient. Psychological warfare. Manipulation of enemy fears. Exploitation of behavioral patterns. Humans did not just fight. They studied their enemy and used that knowledge as a weapon. We learn, Hyunwoo said. Every conflict teaches us. Every hunt improves us. We observe. We adapt. We apply. This is how we became dominant on Earth. This is how we will thrive in the galaxy. Jinsu stood up, his scales pale. These tactics, this hunting, you use it on each other? In your wars? Trimer. Think. Yes. But why? If you are the apex, why fight each other? Hyunwoo paused before answering. Because we are the only challenge worthy of hunting. Because we needed to push ourselves to evolve further. Because when humans fight humans, we develop tactics that work on anything. The implications of that statement settled over the room like a weight. Commander Velthar spoke up, his voice strained. Cadet, I think we have seen enough evidence. One more file, Hyunwoo interrupted again. I promise. This is the last one, but it is the most important. He pulled up a new document. It was a psychological profile. Human Behavioral Analysis. The title read, Human Behavioral Adaptability and Strategic Patience. This is what makes us truly dangerous, Hyunwoo said. Not our bodies. Not our tools. The document detailed case studies. Humans in survival situations making complex tools from scratch. Humans adapting to alien environments within days. Humans learning new languages, new customs, new technologies, with remarkable speed. Humans cooperating in large groups while also excelling at individual tasks. We adapt, Hyunwoo said. To anything. To everything. Put a human in any environment, and they will find a way to survive. Then, they will find a way to thrive. Then they will find a way to dominate. This is not arrogance. This is documented fact. He pulled up historical records. Humans colonizing every climate zone on Earth. Humans thriving in Arctic tundra and tropical jungles and arid deserts and dense forests. Humans living at high altitudes where oxygen was thin. Humans surviving in conditions that would kill most species. When humans arrived on the galactic stage, many of you assumed we were weak, Hyunwoo continued. Because we looked soft. Because we had no natural weapons. Because we did not fit your image of what an apex predator should be. He paused, letting his eyes scan the theater. Many cadets refused to meet his gaze now. But apex predators do not all look the same. Some are ambush hunters. Some are pursuit hunters. Some hunt in packs. Some hunt alone. Humans are persistence hunters. We are endurance predators. We hunt by never giving up. By being inevitable. New footage appeared. Human athletes running marathons. Ultramarathons that covered hundreds of miles. Competitions where humans pushed their bodies to absolute limits and kept going. Events where participants would literally die if they did not choose to stop. We can override our own survival instincts, Hyun-woo said quietly. Most species cannot do this. When your body says stop, you stop. When a human body says stop, we can choose to continue. We can choose to push through pain, through exhaustion, through fear. We can choose to keep hunting, even when every instinct tells us to rest. He pulled up one final piece of footage. A human soldier trapped behind enemy lines. Wounded. No support. No extraction possible. The footage showed 3 days of him evading capture, treating his own wounds, surviving on almost nothing. On the 3rd day, he turned the situation around. Instead of hiding, he began hunting his pursuers, using their own tactics against them. This is what humans are, Hyun-woo said into the heavy silence. We are the predator that thinks, the hunter that adapts, the pursuit that never ends. We became apex on a world full of creatures stronger, faster, and more deadly than us. We did it through persistence, through patience, through refusing to give up. He turned off the display. The lights came up slowly. The theater was half empty now. Those who remained looked shaken. I did not show you these things to frighten you, Hyun-woo said. I showed you because you deserve to know the truth. Humans are apex predators. We earned that title. And now we are here, among you, learning your ways, studying your tactics, adapting to your galaxy. He picked up his data chip and looked at Commander Velthar. The insectoid commander was very still, his mandibles motionless. Are there any questions? Hyun-woo asked. The theater remained silent for a long moment. No one moved. No one spoke. Hyun-woo stood at the front, waiting patiently. Always patient. Finally, a voice from the back broke the silence. An older cadet, from a species known for their analytical minds. You said this was the last file, but you keep showing more. Are you finished or not? I have one more file. Hyun-woo admitted. I know I said that before, but I wanted to show the physical evidence first. The biology, the tactics, the endurance. Now I need to show you something else. Something harder to measure, but more important than all the rest. He pulled up a new file. This one was marked with highest security clearances. Several instructors leaned forward, recognizing the classification level. This file was declassified specifically for this presentation, Hyun-woo said. It required authorization from the Human Military Command and approval from Earth's government. They wanted you to see this. They wanted the galaxy to understand. The screen showed a simple title: Human Psychological Profile, Threat Assessment for Galactic Integration. Commander Velthar's mandibles began clicking rapidly. Cadet. Those documents are meant for command-level review only. They gave me permission, sir. Hyun-woo interrupted calmly. Because humans believe in transparency. We want you to know what we are. All of it. The file opened. The first section detailed something called Human Determination Coefficient. It was a psychological measurement, unique to human psychology. This measures something that does not exist in most species, Hyun-woo explained. The ability to continue pursuing a goal despite overwhelming evidence that the goal is impossible. Most intelligent species assess a situation, calculate the odds, and act rationally. Humans can choose to ignore those calculations. The data showed examples. Humans attempting to escape from impossible situations and succeeding through sheer refusal to accept impossibility. Humans surviving medical conditions that had 100% fatality rates in other species. Humans completing missions rated as suicide operations and returning alive. We call it stubbornness, Hyun-woo said, or determination, or willpower. But what it really means is that humans can choose to keep going when every logical reason says we should stop. This is not always good. Sometimes humans die because they refuse to quit. But sometimes, quote, humans survive because of it. The next section showed combat footage that was different from before. These were not successful operations. These were disasters. Humans trapped, outnumbered, facing certain death. The footage showed what happened next. They did not surrender. Human military doctrine has a concept, Hyunwoo said quietly. Last stand. It means continuing to fight, even when defeat is certain. Even when survival is impossible. Most species would call this irrational. Humans see it as honorable. The footage showed human soldiers in impossible situations choosing to fight rather than surrender. Some survived through luck or rescue. Most did not. But in every case, they made their enemy pay dearly for the victory. One clip showed a single human soldier holding a position for 6 hours against overwhelming force. He was wounded 3 times, ran out of ammunition, used improvised weapons. When enemy forces finally overran his position, they found he had bought enough time for his unit to escape. He knew he would die. He did it anyway. Nari spoke up, her voice shaking slightly. But why? Why not surrender and live? Because sometimes the mission is more important than survival, Hyunwoo answered. Because sometimes our pack needs us to hold the line. Because humans can accept death if it serves a purpose. The next section was labeled Human Pain Tolerance and Combat Effectiveness. It showed medical data that made several cadets physically recoil. Humans continuing to fight with injuries that would incapacitate most species. Humans operating at combat effectiveness with broken bones, severe blood loss, organs damaged. Our bodies produce natural painkillers in combat, Hyunwoo explained. Combined with adrenaline and our ability to override survival instincts, humans can function far beyond normal limits. We have documented cases of humans walking miles with severed limbs, fighting for minutes after receiving fatal wounds, completing objectives while clinically dying. A new file appeared. This one showed brain scans, human neural activity during combat situations compared to other species. The differences were striking. Human brains do something unusual under stress, Hyunwoo said. We enter a state called flow. Time seems to slow. Focus intensifies. Fear disappears. We become extremely calm and efficient. Some humans describe it as peaceful. We are literally wired to be most effective when hunting or fighting. The scans showed human brain activity during various situations: normal activity, stressed activity, combat activity. The combat scans showed patterns that resembled meditation more than panic. Humans under attack were calm, focused, processing information at accelerated rates. This is not training, Hyunwoo explained. This is biology. Human brains evolved to do this. To become calmer when threatened, to think clearer when hunting. We are predators who became intelligent without losing our predator instincts. He pulled up a new section. This one was titled Human, Social, Hunting, Dynamics, and Pack Behavior. Humans hunt in packs but can also operate alone, Hyunwoo said. This flexibility is unusual. Most pack hunters become ineffective when separated. Most solo hunters cannot coordinate with others. Humans do both. The footage showed human military units operating with coordination that approached telepathy. No words spoken, just perfect synchronization. Each human knowing what the others would do, moving as one organism. Then it showed a solo human operative completing a complex mission alone, making decisions independently, adapting without support, succeeding without backup. We switch between these modes naturally, Hyunwoo said. Pack when useful, solo when necessary. Always effective. The next file made several instructors stand up. It was labeled Human Strategic Thinking, Long-Term Planning, and Multi-Generational Goals. This is what makes humans most dangerous, Hyunwoo said simply. We plan, not just for ourselves, for our children, for our children's children. For generations we will never meet. The data showed human projects spanning centuries. Structures built that took generations to complete. Technologies developed that would not be useful until long after the inventors died. Strategies implemented that would only pay off decades later. Most species plan for their lifetime, Hyunwoo explained. Maybe their children's lifetime. Humans plan for infinity. We plant trees we will never see grow. We build cathedrals we will never see finished. We start projects we will never complete. Because we think beyond our own existence. He pulled up the final document. This one was marked with the highest classification level. Several instructors recognized it immediately and tensed. This is Earth's military projection for galactic integration, Hyunwoo said. It was created 200 years ago, when we first detected signs of other intelligent life, long before we met any of you. This document predicted this moment, predicted how other species would react to us, predicted how we should respond. Long. The document showed predictions that had come true with disturbing accuracy. It predicted other species would see humans as weak prey. It predicted mockery and dismissal. It predicted humans would need to prove themselves. It even predicted the general methods other species would use to test human capabilities. We knew, Hyunwoo said quietly. We knew how you would see us. We knew what we would need to prove. We have been preparing for this integration for 2 centuries, planning, studying, learning everything we could about you before we met you. The room had gone very cold. By the time we made official contact with the Galactic Council, Hyunwoo continued, we had already studied every member species. We knew your languages, your customs, your military capabilities, your economic systems, your political structures. We knew everything about you. You knew nothing about us. Tender. Problem. You knew nothing about us. He let that sink in for a moment. This is what apex predators do, Hyunwoo said. We study our prey. We learn everything. We prepare. By the time we strike, victory is already certain. Commander Velthar finally found his voice. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. I am saying humans can see anything as prey if we choose to. But we do not choose to. That is the most important thing I need to show you. He pulled up one last file. This one showed human civilian life. Cities. Families. Art. Culture. Humans caring for other species. Humans helping. Teaching. Trading. Building friendships across species barriers. We are apex predators, Hyunwoo said softly. But we are also civilized. We chose cooperation. We chose peace. We chose to be part of the galactic community. That choice is possible because we are predators. Only something capable of violence can truly choose peace. Only something capable of hunting can truly choose to protect. The theater was absolutely silent now. Every eye fixed on the small human standing at the front. You asked what stops us from seeing you as prey, Hyunwoo said. The answer is simple. We choose. Every day. Every moment. We choose to be allies instead of predators. We choose to build instead of hunt. That choice is worth more than any threat or promise. Because we are making it freely. From a position of strength. He powered down the display and picked up his data chip. Are there any other questions? The tactical theater emptied slowly after Hyunwoo's presentation. Cadets filed out in unusual silence. No one joked. No one laughed. They moved like prey animals who had just realized a predator was nearby. Hyunwoo remained at the front, gathering his materials. He moved without hurry, his movements calm and efficient. Several cadets gave him a wide space as they passed. Others watched him with new eyes, seeing something they had missed before. Commander Velthar approached with 2 other senior instructors. One was a crystalline being named Instructor Court, known for tactical brilliance. The other was Admiral Dae-jung, a human woman with gray hair and quiet authority. Hyunwoo straightened and gave a proper salute to the admiral. At ease, cadet, Admiral Daejung said. Her voice was gentle, but carried weight. That was quite a presentation. I only showed them the truth, Admiral. Yes, she agreed. You did. Perhaps more truth than they were ready for. Commander Velthar's mandibles clicked nervously. Admiral, with respect, the cadet revealed classified information about human military capabilities. He showed tactical doctrines. That I authorized him to show, Admiral Daejung interrupted smoothly. The galaxy needs to understand what humans are. Better they learn from a presentation than from a conflict. Instructor Court spoke up, his voice like chimes. The psychological data was particularly concerning. The ability to override survival instincts, the enhanced combat effectiveness under stress, the multi-generational strategic planning. These capabilities suggest humans could be extremely dangerous if they chose violence. 1-1. This one. Yes, the Admiral agreed simply. We could be. Then why reveal this? Why not keep these capabilities secret? Admiral Daejung smiled slightly. Because secrets create fear. Fear creates conflict. We prefer transparency. Let the galaxy know what we are. Let them see our strengths. Then let them see that we choose peace anyway. That builds trust more than any amount of hiding. Commander Velthar remained silent for a moment, then spoke quietly. I owe Cadet Hyun-woo an apology. And humanity as well. I dismissed your species based on surface characteristics. I judged you as weak without understanding what true strength means. Apology accepted, Commander, Hyun-woo said with a slight bow. No offense was taken. Your reaction was logical, based on available information. That is generous of you, Cadet. But I should have known better. I allowed cultural bias to cloud military judgment. That is inexcusable for an instructor. Admiral Daejung placed a gentle hand on the commander's shoulder. Her touch was light, but Velthar noticed the strength in her grip. Everything about her radiated controlled power. We all have biases, Commander. The important thing is learning from them. Will you learn? I already have, Admiral. Human tactical doctrines will be integrated into our curriculum immediately. I believe all species can benefit from studying human strategic thinking. Good, she nodded. Cadet Hyun-woo, you are dismissed. Well done today. Hyun-woo saluted again and left the theater. As he walked through the corridors, he noticed the change immediately. Cadets moved aside to let him pass. Some nodded respectfully. Others avoided eye contact. No one laughed. He found Nari waiting outside, her feathers slightly ruffled with agitation. She fell into step beside him. That was terrifying, she said bluntly. Was it? Yes. You showed us that humans are persistence predators. That you hunt by never giving up. That you study your prey obsessively. That you can override your own survival instincts. Hyun-woo, do you understand how scary that is to species like mine? My ancestors were prey. Every instinct I have says to be afraid of something that hunts the way humans do. He stopped walking and turned to face her. Are you afraid of me? She met his eyes, considering carefully. No. I am afraid of what you could be. But I am not afraid of what you are. Does that make sense? It does. You are afraid of the potential for violence, not the person. That is wise. But why choose peace? With those capabilities, humans could dominate the galaxy. You could take what you wanted. Who could stop you? Hyun-woo resumed walking, and Nari followed. You are thinking like prey. You assume the strong always dominate the weak. But humans learned something over our history. Cooperation is more effective than domination. Trade is better than conquest. Allies are more valuable than subjects. We became apex not just through hunting, but through working together. We survived because we helped each other. But you also fought each other. Your own presentation showed that. Yes, And those conflicts taught us how destructive violence can be. We learned that winning a fight is not the same as winning a war. That killing your enemy is not as valuable as turning your enemy into a friend. These lessons cost us millions of lives. We will not forget them. They reached the cadet dormitories. Nari paused at the entrance. The others will treat you differently now. You know that? I do. Are you prepared for it? Hyunwoo smiled slightly. I have been preparing for it my entire life. Every human who leaves Earth knows we will be judged differently than others. That our nature makes people nervous. We learn to accept it. That seems lonely. Sometimes it is. But it is also an opportunity. To prove that apex predators can be trustworthy. To show that strength and kindness are not opposites. To build bridges between species who might otherwise fear each other. Nari clicked her beak thoughtfully. I would like to train with you. If you will accept a partner. I want to learn human tactics. Not to become a predator, but to understand how to work with predators. I would be honored, Hyunwoo said with a small bow. The next day, Commander Velthar restructured his entire combat tactics course. He brought in human instructors to teach persistence hunting theory. He showed Hyunwoo's presentation to every class. He required all cadets to study human strategic thinking. Other changes rippled through the academy. The physical training courses were modified to include endurance challenges. The psychology department began studying human determination coefficients. The tactical simulations incorporated human patience and adaptation strategies. Jinsu approached Hyunwoo in the training center 3 days later. The large reptilian moved carefully, almost submissively. Human, I wish to apologize. There is no need, Jinsu. You acted on incomplete information. Still, I was disrespectful. Mocking. I called your species weak. I was wrong. You were not entirely wrong. Humans are physically weaker than your species. But weakness and strength are complicated. Different species measure them differently. Jinsu's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of discomfort. Would you train with me? I am skilled in close combat. You are skilled in strategy and patience. Perhaps we could learn from each other. I would like that. They began training together regularly. Jinsu taught Hyunwoo proper stance and leverage techniques. Hyunwoo taught Jinsu how to conserve energy and identify behavioral patterns. Other cadets watched with interest. Soon, mixed species training groups became common. Months passed. The academy culture shifted. Humans were no longer dismissed or mocked. They were respected, sometimes feared, but increasingly, they were sought after as teammates and partners. Hyunwoo stood in the observation deck late one evening, looking out at the stars. Earth was visible in the distance, a small blue dot among billions of lights. He thought about home, about the long history of humans learning to be both predators and peacemakers. Nari joined him at the window. They had become close friends over the months. She no longer flinched when he moved suddenly. She had learned that humans could be gentle, despite their predatory nature. What are you thinking about? She asked. I am thinking about how lucky the galaxy is, he said quietly. Lucky how? Humans spent 100,000 years learning to hunt. We became the most effective predators on our world. We developed tactics that work on anything. Persistence, patience, adaptability, strategic thinking. We perfected the art of pursuit. That sounds dangerous, not lucky. But then we spent another 10,000 years learning something harder, Hyunwoo continued. We learned to hunt together, instead of hunting each other. We learned that cooperation works better than competition. We learned to turn our predatory instincts toward building instead of destroying. That transformation was harder than becoming Apex ever was. Nari tilted her head. You are saying the galaxy is lucky because humans chose peace? I am saying the galaxy is lucky because we learned how to choose. We could have brought our violence to the stars. Instead, we brought our innovation, our determination, our persistence. We use those traits to solve problems, explore new worlds, build alliances. We are still apex predators. We will always be hunters. But we hunt knowledge now. We hunt understanding. We hunt ways to make life better for everyone. A fleet of ships passed by the observation window. Vessels from a dozen different species, all working together. Several had human advisors aboard now. Human tactical thinking had proven valuable in non-violent contexts as well. Persistence and patience helped with scientific research. Strategic planning improved trade negotiations. Endurance was useful in long-term exploration missions. You know what the most interesting thing is? Nari said. After watching your presentation, I researched other apex predators in the galaxy. Most of them died out. They became too specialized, too focused on hunting. When their prey evolved defenses, the predators could not adapt fast enough. They went extinct. But humans adapted, Hyunwoo said. Exactly. You adapted from hunting animals to building cities, from making weapons to making art, from tracking prey to studying stars. You took all those predatory traits and transformed them into something else. Something that could survive anything, even peace. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of different species with different strengths and weaknesses. Predators and prey, hunters and builders, all trying to find their place among the infinite darkness. And somewhere in that darkness, humanity had found its place. Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as something unique. Apex predators who chose to build instead of destroy. Hunters who chose to protect instead of kill. Persistence predators who applied their nature to the challenge of peace. Do you think other species will ever truly trust humans? Nari asked. Hyunwoo considered the question carefully. Some will not. Trust is earned slowly. But I think respect is a good start. They know what we are now. They know what we can do. And they see that we choose to be allies. That is enough for now. And in the future? In the future, humans will do what we have always done. We will persist. We will adapt. We will work toward our goals with patience and determination. Whether those goals take years or centuries does not matter. We are persistence predators. We think in generations. We plan for infinity. He smiled slightly, looking out at Earth. And our goal now is to be worthy members of this galactic community. To prove that apex predators can be builders. To show that the ability to hunt does not require the choice to kill. That is the hunt we are on now. And humans never give up on a hunt. Nari's feathers ruffled in what might have been a laugh, or might have been respect. The galaxy has no idea what it has accepted into its ranks, does it? Oh, I think some are beginning to understand. Hyunwoo said quietly. But you are right. They have only seen the beginning. Wait until they see what humans can really do when we apply our full potential to peace instead of war. That will be truly amazing. They stood together, predator and prey descendant, watching the future unfold among the stars. The academy lights dimmed for evening cycle. Training would resume tomorrow. Humans and aliens learning from each other, building something new together. And in that moment, looking out at the vast galaxy full of species learning to coexist, Hyunwoo felt something he had not expected to feel when he first arrived at the academy. He felt hope, not just for humans, but for everyone. The hunt for that future had just begun. And humans never gave up on a hunt.